Hey guys. Alright, so I'm going to go into my own raid setup. First and foremost, Salem or Salam or whatever you want to call her. She's a placeholder for now for Usalia, future Usalia, until she actually comes out on day of course. Second off, I want to explain a couple things and how my raid team should be set up. It's definitely not ready. I'm going to be running a lot more item world, as well as doing some alchemy rolls to try and perfect it. We'll see how that turns out before the day comes, but I'm going to show you what I've got right now. So first and foremost, looking at future Warrior Pleinair, we see she's weak to fire and wind. That's also her barrier, which is great. That means you only have to break, one barrier before your fire or wind DPS can come in for the kill. Second off, action gauge placement. This requires a number of things. For one, you need quite a bit of speed. If you look right here, got 91, 90, 90, 89, and 87. Looking at some of their equipment, you'll see that she gets plus 50 action gauge when a wave begins. So that means at the beginning of the actual raid, she'll find her placement on the action gauge and then go up by 50. Hopefully, based on her other equipment, action gauge reduction resistance 20, action gauge reduction resistance 16, and of course, last but not least, another 20, so 56%. I'm not going to go through each one of these. Just know that I have all my equipment set up for each one of these. They all have 56%. That wasn't by design. That was just luck. I'm hoping I can get more than that, just to help me set up for not having to run as so many instances of it before all of them proc, and I'm able to resist that negative 1000 action gauge that happens in raids. But yeah, the first three, that's Archangel Flown, Awaken Roz, and Swimsuit Lucy, all those have plus 50 in the action gauge. So the way this works is if they have a 90 speed and they resist that action gauge reduction, they'll be placed at what is the 950 spot on the action gauge. All three of those also have the plus 50 action gauge. What this means is they will, at the very beginning, also instantly go up to the 1000. So they won't use any time or anything like that. They'll instantly go up. They'll be able to act and not have to worry about using up any time or any valuable resources like that, trying to get that max score. So what I'm going to end up doing with her, Archangel Flown, is, for one, she's going to give me a lot of SP. I'm already getting a bunch because I also have Awaken Roz, so she's also an SP buffer as well. She gives 15 SP at the beginning of battle for everyone. So instead of starting out at what I believe is 16 extra just for starting your turn, so you'll go up to 41 plus her 15, so you go up to 56. So everyone, regardless of all the other buffs, are going to start out roughly at 56 SP. This is great. This means that my DPS won't have to worry about SP whenever they come up, because they'll be also gaining 15 from Archangel Flown. So that 56 now becomes 71. So even before anyone starts, I know for a fact they're going to end up with 71 SP. She's also going to be using her CRD buff on Hamura, which it lasts more than 2 turns. Unfortunately, one of her abilities only lasts 1 turn, so I can't include that in my calculation for buffs and stuff like that. Because, of course, with Hamura, I'm going to be using her time traveling. So that will use up 1 turn. Whatever buff she's got that only lasts 1 turn will not stay. And then, of course, going into this. So 51 as well as 10. If I'm already at 72, I don't have to worry about SP. We'll be good. But yeah, going on to Awakened Roz, the reason why I'm using her is because of a number of things. For one, she has this, which is a buff to attack. And it's also wind, which means it's going to break one of the barriers. And you're probably thinking to yourself, but you have her. Why do you need to break one of the barriers if you already have one that's going to break one of the barriers? Your attacker is a fire-based. You won't need to. Well, the thing is Lucy, her attack is actually also going to be my debuff. If you break the last barrier, you also get a defense debuff to, whatever one you're attacking, which will be the raid boss. What this means is I'm trying to set myself up to 1, buff my attacker, 2, buff my attacker, 3, debuff the main raid boss, and then on top of that go to her abilities. You see that gives the entire party plus 100 action gauge. This is why I don't need on these last two the 90 speed. I can just do 87 speed, and that extra 100 will push me up where I don't use any time. Whenever future Usalia gets here, she's just a buffer. She's going to be buffing Homura again with even more CRD, more attack, and all that. Going into Homura, she's going to be buffed like crazy. She's going to get in her skill, which is time traveling, going to buff her own CRT, which is crit rate, to 100. So no matter what, I'm going into this knowing that I will get my crit. I don't have to worry about, crit fishing or anything like that. I just have to worry about trying to get all the buffs that I can, as well as making sure that they are completely debuffed. One reason why I chose her instead of another buffer is she's the setup for her barrier. I could use another character like, any one of the other debuffers out there and not have to worry about that, just use her for barrier cancel. But why not also get in this gun weapon base stats plus 15, the initial SP that I would probably need, as well as that plus 30. So I'm going to get a 45% buff to attack just for having her in my team, and using her skill. So there's one problem that I'm going to have that I'm actually working on right now. The skill that she's going to be using costs a lot. So it says 81 right now, but I'm obviously going to be going all the way up to the 50 level. And what that is it brings it down to 74. Once I get her skill up to level 50, I believe she's also a king unit. Yeah, she's a king unit. So she'll have minus 5 SP from getting Killia Training 9. This means that 74 becomes 69. If you remember, I made it to where people start out at, of course, 41 plus an extra 30 because of Archangel Floam as well as her own self. So 71, which means she'll have just enough to be able to use that skill. I was actually thinking that I wouldn't have enough, but I completely forgot about Killia Training, and as you can see, she's already 99999, and with Homura being a king unit, you can definitely assume that I've already Killia trained her up completely, meaning I have 5 king units to be able to Killia train her up. I haven't done it yet, but I will. So that's my team. Will I be able to turn 1 this? Or I should say turn 0. So turn 0 is the concept of not using any time while getting max overkill. I'm hoping I do. Let's be honest. The main thing I'm going to be fighting is the action gauge reduction resistance. Everyone's at 56%, but I'm going to do some quick math on that. Calculator. So the way you figure out percentages, at least roughly, you multiply them times each other. And I don't mean like, 56 times 56 times 56. No, I mean 0.56 times 0.56 times 0.56. Ooh, got hiccups. Times 0.56. You get the drill. And I do that for each one. And it comes out to 0.055. What that means is it's a 5.5% chance that it will trigger. So 1 in 20ish, 1 in 19 chance. And the way raids go, you have 3 turns or 3 times to be able to actually trigger it. But you can also chase it, I believe, 2 times. So you have 5 chances in all. And if you're willing to use nether quartz, which it costs 5 nether quartz to chase, I'm not too worried about that. I'll have 5 chances total. So instead of 1 in 20, I'll have roughly 5 in 20, or I believe that's 25% chance within the first time running a level 20,000 raid to be able to have all of them trigger and get this guaranteed crit to be able to completely annihilate this raid, hopefully beating off some of the other top guys who's been here a while. But as you can see, I'm at 121 million attack going into her stuff. I'm actually going to be a lot higher than that. This one's maxed out, but I've been running a lot of Item World, and this one's only at level 38. I'm going to be maxing it out because I've been doing its rarity. Once I get its rarity up to 100, which shouldn't take too long, I've got the Printy Steel for it. I'll be maxing out rank, and if I run out of Printy Steel because of some bad rolls or something like that, I'll just max out rank for all of them anyways, and that will bring my attack up quite a bit. So if you look, this one, 150, it's about 3 million, and I have 2. Yeah, I only have 2 attack mods on here. Both of them are 39%, but yeah, that brings it up to 3,000. And if you compare that to the other ones, this one's not even 1 million. I should have said 3 million, not 3,000. And this one's not even 500,000. So we're talking about an extra 2.5 million if I get it maxed out. I will probably not. It's about 4 days away, and I've got other things I've got to try to work on. But this one, hopefully, I will max out. So that'll be another 2 million-ish. If anything, I will get both of them up to rank 50. Even if I don't max out the rarities, I will get both of them up. And that'll at least give me another, 2 million, 3 million. So hopefully by the end of that, this 119, or with the actual memories, 121, I should bring me up to either 124 to 125 million. Well enough to overkill that boss. Thank you for listening, and we'll see how the raid goes. I'm hoping to overthrow those big bad guys that's always at the top, Isu. Mainly Isu. They're always there.